If you'd like to, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I post every Wednesday.
Hey everyone, my name is Catherine and welcome to my channel. So I wanted to make a video today, and as I'm filming, it is April 17th, and today EF has launched a major drop in a record amount of new trips on their website, which is so exciting. They have 25 new trips launched today, and they are having a sale to celebrate all of these new trips from April 17th to the end of the month. So if you are thinking of doing an EF trip, I highly recommend looking into their website now and seeing what new trips there are and snagging a trip while it is on sale. And a lot of the already existing trips that were already on the EF website before today are also on sale. So if you're wanting to travel in the summer or even later this year or even next year, I think it is an amazing opportunity to snag a trip now during these low prices. So before I get too into the new trips, I just wanted to do a little overview about what EF Ultimate Break is. So EF Ultimate Break is a adventure travel company meant for people who are between the ages of 18 to 35, and they do tours all around the world. I think that EF Ultimate Break is one of the best ways for younger travelers between this age range to travel. So they have over 65 plus different tours around the world that you can do, and many of these tours, if not most, include multiple countries that you can go to. You can do back-to-back tours to utilize most of your time when you're in that part of the world, and I just think it is so fun to do these trips. There are interest-free plans where you can book these trips and not have to worry about having to pay interest down the line. And they have bi-weekly or monthly or pay automatically in full pay plans that are available for you to choose from. And my favorite thing about these trips is that everything is done for you. All the planning, all the logistics. You just honestly have to find what trip you want to do, when you want to do it, and book it and pack. So I really love that, because although I love to travel, I honestly get really overwhelmed and stressed if I have to plan a trip and all the logistics on my own or with like a friend that I'm going with. And thankfully I have friends that are more into travel planning. So looking at some of the new trips, there are so many, so I won't really go into detail about all of them, but looking at the list, they have a South Africa expedition that's new, a Japan and South Korea getaway, a lot of different city experience tours such as in Tokyo, Athens, Barcelona, Lisbon, Madrid, Rome, if you really are wanting to go on a shorter trip and focus on a major city. There's a lot of new trips in North America, such as an Alaska cruise, Canada Rockies, US national parks, Hawaii. There's ones in Latin America like Cruise Galapagos, Ecuador and the islands, Brazil and Argentina, Middle East. They have one in Turkey, they have one in Jordan, and they have a bunch of new trips in Europe as well, which is probably their most popular continent for travelers to go to. Highlights of Switzerland, Greek Island Getaway, Dublin and London Escape, and a bunch of other trips in Europe. I just think these are all really exciting, and looking at the different trips, I already have several trips planned. I'm actually going to South Korea and Japan in 3 or so weeks, and I'd been wanting to go to South Korea for so long, and EF announced just their South Korea on its own, a South Korea trip during the Black Friday sale last year in 2022, and I paired it with Japan, and so I'm actually doing 2 trips back to back. I'm not doing the Japan and South Korea getaway, but that trip is so nice. I would definitely consider doing that trip if I hadn't already booked and planned around the trips I have coming up very soon. But if you're wanting to do both and, you know, don't have like 3 weeks to be able to explore these 2 countries, because if you do the individual South Korea and Japan trip, it's going to take about 3 weeks. I would highly consider that, and that looks like such a good trip, so definitely recommend it. And a lot of these tours I have noticed are starting around in September of 2023, so not very long, and of course are going through 2024 and so on. So this is just all really exciting. And some other trips that I'm like really considering booking possibly for the future is the Alaska Cruise Glacier Bay trip. So I live in Seattle, Washington, and I'm like as close to Alaska really as you can get within like the mainland US. And I've never been to Alaska, and I was like thinking about that. Alaska cruises leave from Seattle all the time, but I'm just familiar with EF Ultimate Break and I feel comfortable booking solo with them, so I would love to do a Alaska cruise through them. That looks so cool. And I have not seen any like cruise trips through EF at all, and I love cruises. I did a study abroad cruise essentially with semester T in undergrad, and it's really exciting to see these cruise type trips becoming more and more common and seen on EF Ultimate Break's website. I would say that South America outside of Antarctica is my least explored continent that I've been to. I'd only been to it for the first time when I went to Ecuador last summer. So seeing that there's a Brazil and Argentina trip now available looks really good, and I want to do that at some point in the future. Another one would be Cruise Galapagos, Ecuador and the islands. Now I know my last EF trip last summer was literally to Ecuador and the Galapagos with EF, so it seems silly to repeat it, but I enjoyed the Galapagos so much. It has such unique wildlife that I haven't seen anywhere else in the world. And I remember thinking, I want to go back one day, but I want to go back and do a cruise, because you really can see a lot more by doing a cruise, because there's a lot of little islands that are just a bit harder to get to without cruising. And now that EF has that option, maybe down the line in the next couple of years, I can look into doing that, because I definitely would love that. And honestly, the other ones, Mexico and Belize, Colombia Escape, I would love to do those as well. I'm just basically reiterating that I want to do like all of these trips. In addition, with Europe, I would say highlights of Switzerland looks really cool. I haven't been doing as many Europe trips. I haven't been to Europe in years, just because I'd explored a lot of Europe in my early 20s and just wanted to explore other continents in the world. But I've only really driven through Switzerland, and I find it to be such a beautiful, fascinating country, and I'd love to go back. So I think the highlights of Switzerland is the one new Europe trip that looks the most exciting to me, and I would definitely love to do it this summer, but I think it's only available again starting in the fall, so maybe like in the fall or in the next couple of years, we'll see. Basically, long story short, is I want to do like all of these trips, but I think the top ones I'm interested in is Alaska cruise, highlights of Switzerland, Brazil and Argentina, and then maybe Cruise Galapagos and Ecuador. But yeah, that has been kind of a quick rundown over the new EF trip drop, and it's one of EF's biggest trip drops to date, where you can save up to $600 on a trip, and the earlier you book a trip, the more discounts you get off. So if you do want to travel, say in 2024 or 2025, and you book now, you can save even more money. So this is just really exciting. When I found out that this many trips were dropping, I was really surprised, because it's so many new trips. I learned about EF Ultimate Break in 2015, and at the time they maybe had like, I don't know, 15 or so trips available. There's very limited options, but that was fine with me because I hadn't explored too much internationally anyway at that time, and I wanted to go to the most common places like London and Paris and whatnot, and that's what they had available. But now in 2023, there's so many options, and they're constantly adding new trips. They just added new trips on Black Friday, and again now with 20 new ones today. It's just so exciting. So I hope this has been interesting to watch. Let me know if you're planning to book anything with EF. I do have a code as always in my description box. Yeah, I'm just so excited for future travels and to see what future trips EF does in the future. It's always exciting just to browse them, even if I'm not booking any of them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in a future video of mine. Bye!